Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I'm audible. Okay. So is there lag in the video or voice, or am I syncing it? Uh, it is syncing accordingly, or there is some issues in this. I'm audible enough. Correct. So let's start this lecture. And what we have done yesterday, we have created a Spring project. We have created a Spring project yesterday, and we have created some REST controller. We have seen how Maven works. Correct. We have seen how we can create a API, or we can say how we have created a mapping using our controllers. Correct. So we have initialized a Spring project. What we have used to initialize our Spring project, we have initialized our Spring project. So what we have used to initialize it, starter Spring is initializer. Correct. We have used Spring Initializer to initialize our project. Correct. So yesterday we have created get mapping. Yesterday we have created get mapping. So I will share my screen first. And yesterday what we have done, we have created REST controller. We have created a REST controller there. And using that controller, we have created get mappings inside our Spring Boot project, which we have created using Spring Initializer. It is clear what we have done till that. What we have done till that. Correct. So let's see. We have created public class home controller. And tell me one thing, like how did browser receive the data here? When we have created a controller, how did browser receive data? Using controller, right? So when we are using controller, so this controller returning some data to our browser, but can controller perform everything? Can our controller perform everything, each and every task it can perform, like database, business logic, validation, email, SMS, payment, everything? Can our controller perform everything, like database, business logic, validation, email, SMS, and payment? Can it can do everything or not? Can we do everything inside our controller? If I do like something, uh, if I start writing everything inside our home controller, we have created a get mapping, and what we are doing, we are connecting our database here, connecting our database here, and then what we are doing, we are writing our business logic here, and after that I am writing my validations as well here. Then what we are doing, we are adding email here. Then I am doing, I am adding our SMS here. After that, I have also implemented my payment here. So will it be a right approach to do, or we have to do something else here? What we can do, we have we have created everything, connecting our database, business logic, validation, email, SMS, payment inside our controller. inside our controller. So we have written each and everything inside our controller. So it will be a correct measure, or we can say it will be a correct way to do things. We are writing each and everything inside this function only. Will it be a right thing to do? No. Why? Because our companies cannot work like this. If a company have a project and they are writing everything inside a single function, it will be a hazardous for them. Why? It will be very difficult to manage things there. If they try to write each and everything inside their one function or inside their one logic, it will be difficult to handle. It will be difficult to maintain. It will be difficult to read. So it will decrease our readability. It will decrease our maintainability, and it will be tightly coupled. What is the coupling? What is the coupling? Like each and every feature is dependent on one thing. If we say it will be a tightly coupled, so each and everything is dependent. So we cannot create independent things like for our payment, we can have multiple things, right? For our payment, we can have multiple things. Uh, Customer can use UPI, customer can use, or we can say uh, customer can use Razor Pay payment gateway, or they can use Paytm payment gateway, correct? And they can use Phone Pay, anything they can use, correct? But if we are making it tightly coupled, what will happen? We have to rewrite everything. Whenever we want to change this service, or we can say whenever we have to change something, what we have to do, we have to rewrite everything, correct? We have to rewrite the logic, but it will not be a well method, or we can say it will not be a correct method to do things. So what we will do, if I will take an real life example, what it can be, like we have a restaurant. Inside our restaurant there are customer, then we have reception, then we have chef, then we have cashier, then we have customer, correct? So does customer go directly into kitchen? Does our customer go directly into our kitchen? No, right? Why? Because reception receives the request, reception get the order, chef cooks, and then waiter will be serving the food. Exactly same architecture exists in Spring Boot as well. Inside our Spring Boot, we have same architecture. Something like we have browser architecture. Architecture in Spring Boot we followed. What it is? We have correct? Browser communicate with controller, or we can say browser communicate with controller. We will be layering our things, like we will be trying to layer our architecture. We will not write everything inside one file. We will creating some layers, so customer direct cannot directly communicate with database, correct? So each and everything is coming from our database, and the main point of a customer is writing the queries inside our database or getting some data from our database. But we will not allow our user to directly control or directly communicate with database. Between it, we got multiple layers. So what are these layers? First one is browser. Customer send their request from browser, correct? Then browser send this request to our controller. Then what we have? We have services. We have service, correct? We have service controller refer to the service. If controller need a validation, it will go to the validation service. Controller need a email, then it will go to the email service. If controller need a payment, it will go to the payment service, correct? So that's how we will be redirecting our request from controller to service. Then service will call our repository. What is repository here? Repository is the tool, or we can say is the layer where we are managing our database queries. What we are doing inside our repository, we are managing our how our platform will communicate with database. So in this layer, what we are managing something like repository is the way which will communicate with database. So next layer will be database. So for the simple architecture, we can follow this. What we have first, we have a browser. Customer came or user came. User send their query from our browser. From their browser, they will be sending us a query. Our server receive this query and send it to the controller, where we are receiving this query using the controller. Why controller? Using the get mapping. Correct? We are using get mapping, post mapping, put mapping. There can be multiple things. So we are directly communicating with controller using mappings here. Correct? So browser which have a request sent by our browser, like http request sent by the browser to our server receive that request and transfer it to the mapping, which is we have defined already. Like it has sent the mapping for our slash, so it will go to the home function. If it has sent the request for our about, so it will map this function or return this function. And if user had sent the request for student mapping, it will go to this function. So similarly, inside it, what will happen? Controller get this mapping. Controller refer action to the service, required service. Which is the required service? It will redirect it to the service. Then what we have? We have repository. So service do their logic. Inside our service, we will be writing our business logic, and whenever our business logic required to communicate with database, it will send this request to our repository. Repository has some rules, and we can have repository have some rules which can directly communicate with database. Repository is not a database. Repository is not a database. Repository will communicate with database. Correct? So yesterday what we have seen? Yesterday we have seen only controller. Yesterday, what we have seen only controller. Now we have services, how service works, how service created, how we can do this. What was the controller first? What was the controller? What was the controller we have? Controller receives HTTP request from client and sends HTTP response. This is the use of our controller. What is the use of our controller? Receives HTTP request from clients and sends HTTP responses. Correct? So what our controller does? Controller receives HTTP request from client and sends HTTP responses. So this is the main use of our controller. Here what we are doing? We are just simply getting the mapping here. We haven't received any request from client, correct? For now, we haven't received any request from our client, and we haven't sent any specific response to our client. We are just returning some string, or we can say we are returning some response in the form of string. But it can be anything. It can be a dog, it can be a integer, it can be a full-fledged response JSON. We can send, it can be an object we can share to our client. Correct? So this is the use of our controller. Like controller, if we say controller never stores data, correct? Controller never stores data. Controller never write SQL. Controller never sends mail. Controller only receive request, call service, returns response. What is the use of, or we can say what is the workflow of controller? What a controller can do? It can receive a request. After that, what it can do? It will call service. then return responses. Correct? This is the use of our controller here. What it can do? It can receive request. It can call service. Whenever it receive a request, it will call a service. Then service returns some response. So it will return the response to our HTTP client. Correct? Is it clear? Is it clear? What is the use of our controller? We have created a student controller here. Correct? Every API begin with slash. When we are creating any API, it will begin with slash. Correct? So that's why we have created about slash student and normally slash. So why service? Now we have a question like why service? We have created a controller. We can write everything inside the controller, but we will not do this. Then why we need a service here? Why we need a service? Why we need a service? Like we have a hospital, correct? Inside our hospital we have a receptionist, correct? If should receptionist perform surgery? Can our receptionist perform surgery? No. We have a receptionist in our hospital. Can our receptionist perform a surgery? No. Similarly, controller calculates salary? No. We cannot use controller to calculate the salary. It can be modified, or it can be some issues like if someone sends some SQL queries, or it has sent our user, or we can say some hacker have sent some uh, data which is infected, or it will directly communicate with database. What will happen? It will directly change our business logic here. So we cannot allow our user to directly communicate with database directly from inside controller. Business logic belongs to service. Our business logic belongs to service only. So whatever we write inside our service, or we can say whatever we write for our business logic, which will lie inside our service. So this is a layer in which we write our business logics. Service contains business rules and application logic. We can say service contains business rules and application logic. Now, how we will create a service? How we will create a service? Like if we say I have created a get mapping. I will create a get mapping here. Sorry, marks. I will create a get mapping here. Name as marks, and instead of it, I will return integer and return 90 plus 80 plus 70 plus 60 plus 78. Correct? If I write something like this, or and suppose this is the data which is coming from our database. This is the data which is coming from our database. If we write it from here, is this correct? If we write our marks, calculate our marks directly from controller, is this correct? It will be right logic for us to write the service logic, or it will belong to service. Correct? We cannot write our logics, or we can say marks should be a business logic for us. It should be a business logic for us. So we cannot write business logic in controller. This is not a hard and fast rule that we cannot write inside it. We can write it. It will show us marks. If we run this program, it will return us some of this thing. Correct. But it is not appreciated that we will write our logics inside our controller. It is something we can say it will be a good method, or we can say it will be a good practice to write our all business logics inside our service. And like uh, there can be something we can say, uh, we can divide our project inside some layers. Correct. So each layer should have their own work. They cannot try to do work of others. If they try to do the work of service, if our controller is trying to do the work of our repository, what will happen? It will create mismanagement. It will create mismanagement. Correct. So we lost our control on our logics. That's why we try to manage each and everything in our respective layers. So inside our controller, we will not say this like we cannot, we should not, we should not write business logic in controller. Correct. So it belongs to service. So how we will create a service? How will create a service? We can say total, and inside the total we have something, we will be returning something inside our total. So we will create a new Java class here, or we can say we will create a package here. First, what we will do, we will create a new package here. What will be the package for us? Services. Correct. Inside this, I will create a new service, name as student. Can I create it? We have created a student service here. We have created a student service here. And to mark this as a service, what we have to do? To mark this as a service, what we have to do? We have to mark this class as service. We have to use our annotation service here. Correct. So service will come from organization or Spring Framework stereotype service. Correct. Now what we will do? What we will do? We will create public int total, total here. Then what we will write? Return something like 90 plus 80 plus 70, and we will import it inside our home controller. What we will do? We will just import it inside our here. We are not in the same package. I will import it. Import. Uh, Service is not coming here. Correct? Sorry. We haven't created any object for it. Correct? We have to create the object here first. We cannot directly write it like this. First, what we have to do? We have to create a object for it. How we will create an object? How we will create an object? We have to create a student service and write it like service equal to new student. Sorry, student service here. And now what we will do, we will just use this service dot total here. Like this, we can use our service dot total. Like this, we can use our service total here. Correct? Why we are not able to get the total method here? Because it is created in the separate package, and before it, or it is in a separate class. So to use this function, what we have to do in normally Java, what we have to do, we have to create an object. We have to create an object to use this function. We have to create this object to get this method inside our service controller. Correct? So we can say this is a dependency for us. Can we say service object creation is a dependency for us? Is a dependency? Correct? First, what we have to do, we have to create an object for it, and it is a dependency for us. So without student service, controller cannot work. Correct? Without student service, our controller cannot work. We cannot call the total function, right? So what we have to do, we have to create a object for it. Then we have to create an object for it. Then what it will do? Then we will directly call it from our service dot total. But it is like a dependency for us. Why it is a dependency? We have to dependence like our one class is depending on the another. So we can say this will create some dependency for us. So dependency means, we can say dependency means one class depends on another. Correct? Our controller class is depending on our service student service class. Correct? Our controller class is depending on our student service class. So this is a dependency for us. But for in normal Java, what we have to do in normal Java, this is our if we are writing a normal Java, what we have to do first, we have to create an object like this. Then we will simply use it inside our function. We will call this function from this object service dot total. That's how Java works, right? That's how we have to do something like this to create a like service dot total, and we will call this function inside our marks function. Correct? So say something like what happens if our student service constructor got changed. What happen if our student service constructor changes? What will happen if our constructor changes for our student service? What will happen here? What we are trying to do, we have just used the empty constructor. Correct? We have used the empty constructor. We have created an object here. We have created an object here. But what will happen if our student service constructor will change in future? Can we use this directly? If it requires some parameters, then what will happen? Or it can have 100 controllers, need modification. If we are using student service multiple times and it can have 100 controllers, correct? So it will create a problem for us. It will need modification each and every time. So it will creating a tightly coupled dependency for us. So both classes like home controller and service class, student service class. Both are tightly coupled here. We cannot make change in one class directly. If we are changing our constructor of our student service class, we need to change the uh, object creation of our home controller class. If we are creating the student service object inside our home controller, we have to change that as well, correct? So it will create a problem for us. Here, our one most used topic, or we can say one of the most used feature comes here. What it is? What it is? It is dependency injection. What it is? It is a dependency injection. Like teacher, if we see some real life example, correct? So teacher needs projector, right? Marker, laptop. So teacher buy everything. So our teacher buy everything in a teacher taught in teach in a class, or we can say teacher teach in a college. He needs projector, marker, laptop. So teacher buy everything. No, school provides everything, right? School provides everything for them. Similarly, Spring provides required object. Here, what we are trying to do, we are created an object and we are using it. But if anything change, it will create problem for us. Correct? So we can say Spring provides required object. We can say Spring provides required objects. Correct? Automatic provides required object. So this is called as dependency injection. Like we can say this is the use of our dependency injection, we can say. And what is the dependency injection? What is the dependency injection? Is a design pattern where Spring creates objects and Spring creates object, and what does our Spring do? Spring creates our required objects and injects them into other classes automatically. So what our dependency injection do? What our dependency injection do? Is dependency injection is a design pattern where Spring creates required objects. We can say it creates required objects and injects them into other classes automatically. So without DI, what we have to do? Without DI, we have to create object by us. We have to create objects by us. Correct? New student service. We are using student services. We have to use new student services to create an object. Correct? But when we are using dependency injection with DI, what we have to do? With DI, what we have to do? Spring controller. We have uh, we have a Spring container. Spring container. What it will do? It will create a student service. What it will do? It will create a student service. Then injects the controller. It will inject the controller inside our controller class. It will inside this Spring container. Inside in Spring container, our objects are lying, or we can say beans are lying for our student service. Then it will create a student service bean inside our Spring container. It will create a student service bean. Then it will inject it inside our controller. So how we will do this? If we say developer doesn't create objects, Spring creates object. So we also say it is a very important topic, we can say inversion of control. What is inversion of control? What is the meaning of inversion of control? Can anyone tell? Like earlier, who created object? Earlier, who is creating the object? Developer, correct? Now, who creates object? Spring. First, earlier, who is creating the object? Developer. Now, who is creating the object? Spring. Control shifted from developer to Spring. We have shifted control from the developer to Spring. What kind of control? To create the object. We have shifted our control from developer to Spring for what? To create an object. Create an object. So this means IOC means Spring controls object creation instead of developer. What we can say? It means Spring control object creation instead of developer. So this is our inversion of control. Like we have inverted our control from developer to Spring. So this is the difference between it. Like earlier what we are doing, developer is creating the object. Now Spring is creating the object. Is it clear what is inversion of control here? We have inverted our control from developer to Spring, simple. Correct? Then we have Spring Beans as well. Before learning about the auto wire, we have to understand these topics as well. We have to understand how it works inside our auto wire, how auto wire works internally. So this is the real thing we have to learn first. So first what we have done, dependency injection. Dependency injection is a design pattern where Spring creates required object, and same concept is called as inversion of control, where it means Spring control object creation instead of the developer. So is it clear how our Spring work here? Then we have bean, Spring Bean. What is the Spring Bean? What are the Spring Beans? Now what we have done, we have inverted the control from developer to Spring. Correct? We have converted the control from developer to Spring. Then what is the Spring Bean? Whatever developer is creating for the new object, it is called as object. But objects managed by Spring container is called as Spring Bean. Whatever object manages by our Spring container is called as Spring Bean. So everyone know the difference between the object and bean. Objects are which we developer created, and beans are objects managed by our Spring container. Correct? Inside a, we can say we have a Spring container, something like a box, and inside that box we have created each and every objects there. It automatically create those objects there, and whenever we require, it will automatically inject them inside our classes. Correct? Is it clear how our Spring Bean works? How our Spring Beans works? Bean equal to, we can say, object, but managed by Spring container. Clear? So we can say whenever Spring sees at the rate service or at the rate REST controller, it will, it creates beans automatically, or we can say it creates objects automatically. Correct? Whenever our Spring sees annotations like service or REST controller, it will create beans automatically. So whenever we need this home controller, or whenever we uh, use this home controller, it will create its object automatically. Similarly, whenever it sees this student service at the rate service here, it will create object for it automatically. So now how to use it without creating an object? So if we say memory, how memory looks inside our Spring container? Spring container, we have a Spring container, correct? And then we have inside our Spring container what we have: student service object. Then what we had inside our Spring container, what we had: student controller object. Similarly, if we create anything else like employee service or book service, so it will create objects for them as well. So currently inside our Spring container, what we had: student service object and student controller object. Correct? So it already has student service object and student controller object. Now, how to inject this inside our class? How to inject one service, or we can say how to inject the bean to another class object. How we can uh, how we can ask our Spring to, like, please give me required object. Correct? How we will ask our Spring? They will give us our it will give us a required object. How we will ask? Using @auto wired. Why we need auto wired? Means Spring, please give me required object. We need a some object of this class. Please give me that. So how we will use auto wired here? How we will use auto wired here? We will just remove this object creation here. We already know that whenever we use new keyword, it will allocate some memory. It will create an object. Correct? Whenever we use new keyword before any service like this, so it will create a object for it, or it will create a it will allocate the new memory for it. But what we will do, we will remove this. Correct? We will just remove this and write auto wired here. So its object has been created already inside our Spring container. Whenever we use REST controller or service, it has already created. Correct? It has inside our Spring container, it already created two objects. One is student service object, second one is student controller object. But whenever we are writing auto wired before it, so it is just asking Spring to provide me the required object. It is asking us to provide the required object. Correct? So what auto wire do? What auto wire do here? What it will do? Auto wire do, like, Spring searches for our student service bean, for student service beans. Correct? Then it finds object. Then it finds object. Then injects it. What it will do? Find object, then inject it. Spring searches. Spring search for our object. Then student service bean is find here. Then it will find its object. Then it will inject it here. So directly we will got this function from our student service bean. Clear? Is it clear? Now we have something else as well. If we try to run this program, and inside this what we have created, marks. Correct? So if I go to here and write localhost 8081 slash marks, what we will got? 240. correct? What we get? 240 here. So which is the like our service is working correctly, which verifies our service is working correctly, correct? Student service dot total is working correctly here. Is it clear? Now inside our industry, we don't use like AutoWire works. Like we have seen how AutoWire works, and it is working right now. We have verified it, correct? We have verified it on the browser that our AutoWire works. But there is something else. But industry uses what our industry use. But industry uses constructor injection. What our industry uses? It uses constructor injection. What is the constructor injection now? What is the constructor injection? We have understood that we use AutoWire to get the object and we will be directly injecting it. Now, how our constructor injection works? How our constructor injection works? How we will create it? Inside this service, if I go to the student service, what we can do? We can directly inside our class, how we will create a constructor injection? How we do constructor injection? Can anyone tell how we do student constructor injection? So to do the constructor injection, we will do like we will comment it out here, and what we do, private final student service, then service. We have created it, correct? We have created it. We have created a private final student service. Now what we will do? We will create a public student controller, and inside this what we will do, student service, and this dot service equal to service. So sorry, student controller not, here will be home controller, because we have created from the home control. We have created a home controller here, correct? So we have created a constructor for it. We have created a constructor for it, and we have created a final student service here. We have created a private final student service, correct? Now what we will do, we have used our constructor of our controller class. We have used controller of our constructor of our home controller class. Inside it, what we have done, we have passed our student service as a parameter and assigned it to the this dot service. So now what will happen? What will happen is it will inject the student service directly inside our this service. So this is called as constructor injection. We can say this is called as constructor injection. Is it clear? Who called constructor here? Who called constructor? Now we are using mapping here, correct? So whenever we called slash or slash marks, then who is calling this constructor here? Someone calling our constructor or not? No, correct? Our constructor is not called by anything. Right now we are not calling our constructor directly. We have created this, but we haven't created any object for it. Correct. We haven't called our home controller anywhere. We are just calling this get mapping. Correct. We are just calling this marks get mapping for our marks. Correct. So what will happen here? Our spring call this constructor automatically. Correct. Our spring call this constructor automatically. So that's how our constructor injection works. So we have two ways to inject a bean inside our another class. What we will use to do the dependency injection, we have two ways. First is what is this? Object injection. We can directly create a bean and auto wire. We will use auto wire to inject the service here, and we have second way to inject our dependency using constructor injection. We can use constructor injection. What are the advantages of this? What are the advantages of this? Advantages are immutable. We cannot change it. It will not change easily again and again. Easy testing. Testing is easier. It will fail if some error is there, and it is recommended by industry, or we can say it is recommended by Java itself, and it is a industry standard. We can say constructor injection is a industry standard. Correct? Is it clear? Or any doubt in this? Anyone have any doubt in this till now? So what we have done, we have created a service here. We have created a service here. We have seen dependency injection. We have seen IOC, inversion of control. We have seen Spring Bean. We have seen auto wired. We have also seen constructor injection as well. So these are the topics we have covered till now. Correct? Here, if I try to create a function name as public string student and return if I return this Rahul, and after that what we will do, public string course, and here I will return Java full stack. Correct? So I've created two functions. First is student, second one is course. And inside our home controller, what we will do, we have already injected our student service here. We have already student service. We have injected our student service here. Now for the about, or we can say instead of about, what we will do, mm, inside student, I will create it as something like, instead of this, I will return service dot student. Correct. I will return service dot student here, and wait, instead of student, I will return course here, which will be more fit. And here I will return service dot student. Correct. So what we have done, we have just replaced directly written code inside our controller, and we have used our service to implement it. Is it clear? If we run this, it is working. Correct. So here, if I call about, what we will get? Java full stack. And if I try to call the student here, so we will got Rahul. Is it clear how our classes, our services working here? How our services are working here? So today what we have done? Today we have stopped writing everything in one class, correct? Today what we have done? We have stopped writing everything inside our one class. We separated responsibilities into layers. Tomorrow what we will do? We will add the repository layer and connect our application to MySQL using Spring Data JPA. Correct? So for tomorrow class, what we will do? For tomorrow class, can we put it at 2 p.m. for tomorrow? 2 p.m. class will be good. If we put our class at 2 p.m., it will work or not? Tell me about it. For tomorrow, 2 p.m. class. So, because as tomorrow, what we can do, we can learn about the repository and we will try to create a project as well. We will try to create a, we will, tomorrow is Sunday now. So we can do this at 2 p.m. It can be long, little bit long. Our 2 p.m. class can be little bit long for us. So what we can do? If someone, it will be on YouTube as well, so you can directly take this class after as well. Like if we have end our class, you can directly check it on YouTube as well later on. And we will do try to do some projects today tomorrow, and it can be like more than 1 hour. Okay, we will announce it in our groups. So if anyone is not in group, they can join directly. I will provide the link for the group as well in the description. Okay, everyone. Any doubt? I have already posted on the GitHub. I will try to push today's class as well. This will be the repo for our Git. This is the new repo where I've posted our Spring code. Okay, guys. we will end this live.